Well, that's excellent.
So, what does the Super Bowl, NASCAR, ESPN, Earth, Wind, and Fire, the White House, and the Home Depot all have in common? Well, the answer is our guest today, Michael Blair. Michael will take us through his incredible journey to become the voice and the energy of companies, corporations, and sports. Welcome to the Mind Your Business podcast, the podcast for whatever business is on your mind. Let's get started.
Well, that's excellent.
Today, I'm so excited and I am truly honored to be talking to Michael Blair. Michael is the jack of all trades. He's an actor, an entertainer, he's a host, an MC, a motivational speaker, and the list really could go on and on. I would just like to say he's the life of the party. He has a gift of enthusiasm, a gift of excitement. He can entertain and he can encourage. He works with Fortune 500 companies like Aflac, Aaron's, AT&T, Home Depot, Caterpillar. Maybe you've seen him as the voice of NASCAR, giving the NASCAR driver introductions, or at the ESPN Fan Zone, or even as the former Atlanta Hawks MC. He just happens to be celebrating his 30th year in business, and he's kind enough to take a moment out of his travel schedule to spend it with us today. And Michael, I just want to say thank you. It's such an honor that you're here with us, and I want to say welcome to the podcast.
Well, Brandon, thank you. It's an honor to be invited to be on your podcast, and excited to share some highlights. And, it was not all easy all the way, but we're still, we're learning every day. So thank you for having me on your show.
Well, listen, I just want to say just how much I appreciate just who you are. Michael and I met earlier this year, just our paths intersected, had a brief phone call together, and I've been following him since. And just the genuineness, the humility, the passion that he has for people. There was a kinship that I felt there. And so I'm just honored that you're spending some time with us. But I want people just to get a glimpse. Just give us a little glimpse, Michael, professionally. You have a really unique job. This is not a normal 9 to 5 or something that most people experience. Can you just give everyone just a little insight to what it is that you do?
Well, in simplest terms, it's funny you asked that, Brandon, because my mom and dad, they've seen me over 30 years many times, and they always ask my mom and dad, what does Mike do for a living? And they go, I don't know. You got to ask him. But blessed, Lord put me, my calling, I feel that got put on my heart is to love on people and to make them feel good about themselves. And basically, I'm a motivational MC, host, auctioneer, Slash. That's my nickname is Slash because I got so many job titles, and all my teammates from college, they always call me Slash because I was always on the radio station slash on the theater. And that was my minor, was theater in college, and mass communications degree. But I'm a motivational MC, host. Now we've done so many. We've got our corporate clients, but we do a lot of professional, a lot of collegiate. We do Super Bowl every year. Just got hired to do the Kentucky Derby. We signed a 3-year deal with them, and some exciting things coming up. So to most people, I'm a motivational host, MC. We find out a company's needs and goals, go in there and kind of come up with a theme or an event that's different, a little bit better, and a lot of both. And really, the authenticity, you hit it early on, is what I'd love to meet with all the people that are making the decisions on what they want to accomplish. So how can we make that better? And I need to talk to all parties involved, whether that's coming from the CEO, whether that's coming from, the meeting planner, and I get both. So, there's the corporate end that what I say we do during the week. And then we got our professional and collegiate sports on the weekend, and blessed to travel the world and share God's love and make things happen.
That's awesome. I mean, you really are the life of the party. That's what you're really hired to do. You're there to get everyone excited. What's some of the most fun that you enjoy? I mean, out of some of those things that you do, you listed a lot of different things, and obviously the Super Bowl and things like that. Do you have a favorite that you just really look forward to doing?
It's they're in categories, because that's a tough question. We've been blessed. Here's a good one though. This one's hard to beat. 1999, Y2K, 2000s coming, everybody thinks everything's going to crash.
Yeah.
We got hired to open up for Earth, Wind, and Fire down in the Florida Keys for a company out of New York. And New Year's Eve, we did our thing before we introduced Earth, Wind, and Fire to come on, and they were the main act for the group. We had about 400 people down there. After the party, before New Year's Eve, Earth, Wind, and Fire goes out to the beach. We're in the Florida Keys, and I'm standing there with Philip Bailey, and he has a bottle of Dom Perignon. And I said, Philip, I said, do you mind signing that bottle? This is kind of epic. Will the market or the world crash because they're saying Y2K, everything's going, for 2000. And that was a worry or just a conversation at that time. And he signed it right there. Finished that champagne. We jumped on jet skis at midnight in the Florida Keys. That was kind of special.
Come on.
Yeah.
So Earth, Wind, and Fire, Y2K. If you're going to go out, 1999.
That's exactly that would have been a way to go out. But that was a pretty special.
What are some of the most interesting people that you've worked with that way professionally? Like what are some? So Earth, Wind, and Fire. What else?
We've done, we've been invited to the White House 3 times. That was back different. The temperature was a lot different then.
Sure.
And we did that with Aflac Federal. They're one of my big clients, and they took us up to DC, and that was pretty special. Our first time, we opened up for Martina McBride. They had a little party before the convention started, and we were there representing Aflac, and that was pretty amazing as well. The people we got to meet for that, they were just electric. They were so thankful to be there, and they appreciated what we were doing. And I live for that first reaction. I just live for that, because everybody, you don't know what they're going through, but I love putting that smile on somebody's face or engaging them and making them feel special, and then seeing them ignite and seeing their personalities coming out when usually they're hiding that from their company, right?
Yeah, sure.
Or when we give them a free, safe, enthusiasm stirs action, action produces results, and results get you your bottom line. And, I think you and I shared a little bit, but action's the key word there.
Yeah.
So my team, these guys and girls that I work with, we work so close together, and I usually, get to know them for about 2 years before I really give them full reign. And now I'm the weakest link.
Wow.
And my team, I'm blessed. God put these people in my life for a reason, and it's to love on people and to make a difference, to shine his light, but yet making other people feel really special.
Hey, but isn't that really success?
Yeah. Well,
when you make the people and the places you go better than it was when you got there. And so to know that you have launched people into their purpose and doing great things, that you've been able to invest in them and send them, I think that's incredible. To me, I think that is the picture of success.
Well, thank you.
So how incredible. So whether we see you on the stage pumping the party up, you're with all of these you work with celebrities, different organizations, corporate world. So I know that people can watch you. I follow you on social media and see all the things that you're doing, but tell us about just who you are as a person. I like, our culture, we celebrate charisma over character, and I really like to know about people. And I feel like you're a man of a lot of character. And so just tell us about just who you are who is Michael, and a little bit about your background, how you got into this. Like, how was all this formed?
Wow, that's a great story. That might be 3 or 4 podcasts, but and you cut me off, Brandon. Just cut me off if I get a little winded, because I can talk all day.
That's all right.
But I grew up in the football arena. My dad played college football at Colorado. He went on to the Denver Broncos, played there. After he played pro ball, he went back to Colorado and coached with Eddie Crowder, late 60s, early 70s. Met Pepper Rogers when Pepper was at Kansas. Pepper got the head job at UCLA, took my dad to UCLA. I was born in 64. So it's my 30th anniversary of my 30th birthday. And we get stronger in the fourth quarter. So, so he went to UCLA with Pepper. Pepper took the job out here at Georgia Tech. And this is, we're growing up as kids, my brother and I, and we're packing up every 3 years. You win, you get promoted, you lose, you get fired. And we're with mom. Mom says, let's go. My mom was the disciplinarian, because dad was always the coach, and he was home on Sundays. And so I grew up a football kid. And then my dad got fired at Tech Georgia Tech. He was with Pepper, stayed 1 year with Curry. But Dick Vermeil coached with my dad at UCLA and hired my dad, and he was with the Philadelphia Eagles. So my dad went to be a professional scout there. So he packed up and left. We stayed here. That was during our high school years. My dad didn't want to move us. We were, my brother and I playing football and basketball and baseball, and as that's just what we did. And I wanted to be like my dad. My dad's my hero. And he was our best friend, but he was our disciplinarian. And like my mom, he said, just be nice, get after it, work hard. But we had a lot of success and failures. My dad being fired, we had to move.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that? It didn't bother my dad one bit. He's got 4 Super Bowls. My mom has 4 Super Bowl rings because he got fired, right? So it's not failure, and it's just on the game of life, or the walk of life, I should say. They're not, that action is so important. If you're out there and things don't go your way or the way you expect it to be, what are you going to do? You're not going to quit. You got to get out. You got to find the way that works and what works well. And that action is how I think my dad brought my brother and I up. And he loved my mom and had a great family. They were still together. He passed in 2000. Thank goodness he wasn't a part of that COVID. I don't think he would understand it with his dementia, because he played pro ball and college ball, and back then they played with suspension helmets. So he was hitting with his head, and that's how they taught. But then I was quarterback at Parkview High School, just a normal kid, and coach's son. It was harder on me and my brother because my dad coached, right? Then I went on to college. Long story short, got a football scholarship at Austin Peay State University. My dad said, this is a great story because I used a lot of what he taught me as a stepdad now, and I see how important that was. I'll get choked up again.
It's all right.
He said, man, wake up, show up, and do the next right thing. And he told me if I made B's and C's in school, I could do anything I want. You could stay up late. We didn't have things back then. We didn't have cell phones back then.
That's right, yeah.
We didn't have video games. We had a basketball. So we were playing hoop every day. We had a football. We played, if football season, we're playing football in the front yard. Broke both collarbones playing tackle football in the front yard. I've been operated on 6 times in college, never missed a game. Thought I was going to play pro ball. That was just what I wanted to do. I wanted to make my dad and mom happy, and I wasn't doing it for them. I loved it. I truly was engaged and thought I was going to be playing professional ball. And my senior year, Austin Peay, we were playing Murray State at home. And third quarter, remember it like it was yesterday, coach called one lightning, and when they call one lightning, that's me. I played strong safety. It's a blitz on strong side, and I had a free shot at the quarterback, and it was in third quarter, and I thought I had him. And this pulling guard out of nowhere dove and hit my left knee, and my leg stayed in the turf and snapped my knee, tore my anterior cruciate medial collateral. And, that's my senior year. Well, wow. I thought I was going to play pro ball.
Yeah.
So I go into rehab as far as for my knee and get it stronger, got it back. So, and then I had some tryouts afterwards, which I went to camp to Redskins and the Giants, but didn't make it. So I had to grow up, Brandon. I had to grow up. That was an eye-awakening moment, because what I thought I was going to be doing was just like my dad, play pro ball and then go on to be a coach, maybe, Yeah. And I got my degree in TV and radio. I was blessed. Again, that's where I love the reaction of people and making them happy early on. And I minored in theater. I loved live events. I didn't like really tape recorded things as far as, TV stuff at the time. They wanted me to focus on television or, sports news or all that kind of stuff. And I didn't want that. I wanted that live event so I can interact with each person and get that emotion and get them excited. And that's kind of where it all started. Well, we were on scholarship, and back then we're not allowed to work. We couldn't make any money because we're on scholarship. That was against NCAA rules.
Okay.
But with the fraternities because I was a DJ, I had all the music. We'd go do their fraternity parties, and they they'd pay us like $50, just to come do that. And that back then, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So I started DJing back then, and then people started me, you know what? Can you do my wedding? And, we're in college, so everybody's getting married right after college. I'm going, I don't really do weddings. But yeah, sure. Well, we start doing weddings. Long story short, there are 2 a week after I graduated. And to jump back, I kind of skipped ahead. Yeah, all through high school, I worked for Atlanta Sports Cards, a baseball card store.
Okay.
And after I graduated, I ended up asking my boss if I could buy that store, which I ended up doing, and I bought Power Sports Cards. So after I graduated, I had, it's called Power Sports Cards, the baseball card store. And then I was doing weddings on the weekend. So I started doing all the weddings at Chateau Lawn, all the weddings at Lake Lanier, then Callaway Garden started calling, and then the Ritz-Carlton Lake Oconee got built, and that was the hotel. We became one of their main vendors there for weddings. This all just started weddings. And not that I wanted to do weddings, it was just that I do one event, and that passion, that love of people really came through. So I do one event, I booked 3 more, because those 3 people that were there, they want us to do their weddings now, right?
Yeah.
Well, we kept getting called to do all these. We had those 4 hotels: the Ritz, Callaway Gardens, Chateau Lawn, Lake Lanier Islands. And we don't have enough staff. It was just me. I started out as a dynamic DJ, and it was just me and my sound guy. And Chris Seaver's my DJ now. He's my number 1. Jeff Bernitsky's my number 2. And they're phenomenal DJs, music people. But they care because they'll play something in a corporate world that has meaning, that the words mean exactly what they're accomplishing, whether it's trust, conflict,
Intentional.
whatever. Yeah. Very, very important stuff. And, it blows my mind because it'll break my train of thought, what's going on. Because I hear that song and I go, that's perfect. I'm getting jacked up. You just pumped up the pumper upper. But all those weddings, then we became the main vendor for those hotels. Well, Aflac started coming in, Coca-Cola. And again, I jumped ahead. I get excited, Brandon.
That's great.
To jump back just a little bit, because in 1995, I got hired to be the MC for the Atlanta Hawks.
Okay.
And this was a key moment. God put me in that position. Had to try out for it. Literally got it, and I thought I made it. Atlanta Hawks. I'm in the Omni, that was back when the Omni was there, and I'm introducing, we did pretty much as the MC. I didn't do the on-court introductions for the teams or anything like that, but I did all the promotions that were going on. I was on mic, I was on the court, halftime, whatever that halftime event was. But I thought I made it. They were paying us $50. That was it, just a game. It was not even a job really, but I loved it.
Yeah.
But there's a big lesson in that I'll get to here in just a minute. But after that, I did that season in 95. The Olympics came in 96. And, none of this would have happened. And what's the overlining in all this? God's hand was in all this. I didn't see it until later because of it being an MC for the Atlanta Hawks, the Olympics came in 96. Well, they wanted me to be the DJ for all the athletes in the village.
Wow.
We tried out, but we didn't get it. And I was crushed. Yeah. I just knew, here's the Olympics coming to Atlanta. We're going to do it for all the athletes. That game on. And I thought I already hit the top of the world just being the MC for the Atlanta Hawks.
Sure.
And long story short, we didn't get it, but better for me and better for my family, I got one of their top 10 sponsors. So Panasonic hired us. 54 straight nights of entertainment. But I had to sell my baseball card store, which I owned at that time. I went from graduating, working at the baseball card store, doing weddings, to buying that baseball card store that I could have the freedom to do more weddings and then corporate events slowly. And then 95 with the Hawks became professional sports. And then the Olympics came. I didn't even know what I was doing. I didn't even know what a bid was. So I called my buddy Bill Clary at the time, a lot older, wiser than me. He was a magician and he's traveled the world. He has all these big clients, and I don't even understand how to write a bid, And so he helped me with that. And and we got Panasonic. Well, 54 straight nights. You had 3 regions. You had the United States, you had Europe, and then you had Japan. I mean, just how all that. We had 3 different groups coming in, and every 4 days, a new 1,200 people would come in from Panasonic from around the world, and we had to do a 24-hour hospitality. We ended up getting it. So I'm hanging on Bill Clary to help me make this work. Well, no. Biggest thing was they didn't even speak English. So how are we going to communicate?
Sure.
And this is cool. We communicated. Disco was big in Europe at the time, and we turned from 8 o'clock at night to like 2 a.m. We turned it into a discotheque, and all the R&B and the music. We all came together dancing, and that's how we communicated.
Wow.
And it was so successful. People, you couldn't get into it's one of the highlight parties. You couldn't get into our party without being brought in by a Panasonic employee. Well, then I meet Coca-Cola because they're all being invited. Then I meet Aflac. I'm meeting all these people that are my true clients, which comes down to God put me in front of those people. And it's all about building relationships, and it's building relationships for the kingdom.
That's incredible.
And my dad always said, don't tell me what to do, show me.
That's awesome.
And that's in our corporate world, as don't tell me about Jesus, show me about Jesus, right?
Yeah.
And that's been just loving on people and making them feel good. And it's still growing. That's what's amazing. Even it's crazy because look at 2008 when the housing market crashed.
Sure.
Corporate America from 2000 to 2007 was bigger, better, faster, stronger. We got the budget. Let's do it. We're going overseas. We're doing this. We're doing that. They wanted to be bigger and better. IBM, the coup de grace of all corporate events is the IBM Golden Global Circle. If you were a part of that, that's the coup de grace. And I got invited to do that. Worked one night a week for an entire month, different groups, one night a week. But they wouldn't let us leave Bermuda. We had to stay in Bermuda the whole month.
Wow.
We worked 4 nights. And we did the after party after Josh Groban, which is another event that just popped in my head that it just, there's so many.
Man.
But there's people that you meet that those relationships that mean a lot to me that couldn't have happened without God putting us in that position.
Out of all of that, you're talking about, the influence that your dad and your mom had on you from the very beginning and the desire to make them proud. And then through that entire journey, your desire to motivate, encourage people and make people more valuable. And it sounds like, well, tell me again, you said your dad said to get up, show up, and
he said it's very, and I added something to this.
Okay.
So it's wake up. First thing you do is wake up,
That's right.
show up, and do the next right thing. It's
love
that simple, right?
And I hear you say a lot, don't meet me there, beat me there.
That's my call. Oh, it's right there. Look
at it. That's it. And there's this anticipation that comes from behind what you do. And so, listen, I love that you honor your family so well. I love that you honor and value people so well, even your team, that you've instilled in your team how detailed and intentional you can be with even the music that you're playing that adds value to the event, that down to those tiny details that most people would miss. It shows why you've been successful of what you've been doing for 30 years.
Blessed.
And I love more than anything that you're sitting here 30 years invested,
right?
But yet your passion is still there. And I think there's so many people who have, number one, they've got a dream, but they won't do it.
Right.
You had a dream and you went for it. And then when it didn't work out, you pivoted and you made it work and you never lost your tenacity. So I think some people can understand today, wherever you are, don't give up, keep working, show up. And then you've evolved over the years, which I think is incredible. I think your faith is incredible. You honor the Lord and you believe that God put you in all those places. And I think that's key. I know that there are challenges in what you do. There's a lot of people that's out there and they would go, wow, he has to stay in a beautiful beach for a month and work one night. He's got it made. What's he talking about? But that's a small picture. The stage lasts for a couple of hours. but then there's all the other elements that go with it. And especially when you're attached to people. So I know that you have to please a lot of different people, investors, vendors, you have different brands that you represent, all of these different things that have these demands. So give me a little insight on just some practicalities of your business, of how you are so flexible in the way that you meet all these different demands from different people. How do you find the ability to please everybody and really to keep doing it for 30 years?
You can't please everybody. And I learned real quick, you please the crowd, not that person, because there's always one you're going to have at every one, whether it's a heckler, whether it's somebody that's just, it's sad because you want to love on that person. And that makes me love on that person even more, and making them feel good. And sometimes you can only do so much. Some people, it's hard if you don't want to help yourself. You can't be helped. You got to want to help, to be better. And you to jump back a little bit to what you said, is right at home, because that's what my wife thought. You're traveling to all these places. I go, well, honey, you can go to every one. Let's go. Yeah. It took her not even 3 months. She goes, I'm done.
Yeah, that's right.
Whether she'll go to Disney World and she'll go to Disneyland.
Yeah.
That's when I'm going out, and we're going to Disney World tomorrow. We're going to Orlando tomorrow.'s going with me. It's her birthday too. So, but literally that travel, because people don't understand, a normal show for me or for us is, that we're actually on stage is about 4 hours. That's random. Some are 3, some are 8. Right.
And Michael, you do that no matter how you feel.
Correct.
Whether you are excited about life, or maybe it's a low season of life, whether you physically feel well or not, you are having to encourage other people. And that takes a lot.
Been there, done that.
Yeah.
And Brandon, and that's so hard. The road life is hard and it's tough. I mean, August this month, we've been so blessed and we've reached so many people. It's after COVID, companies are yearning for that engagement. And that's what I love, that engagement. And I love that word, is engage.
Yeah.
And everything we try to do is in the most respect, positive, and, entertaining yet motivational. Just, that was a blast. I want to do that again. Or, wow, if we can just get that response and that big smile going, I get it now, right? And that transfers back to the corporation, whether it's corporate or whether, I'm introducing drivers, at 5 different tracks. And each time they came up to me, go, you jack me up. I'm ready to go, just because of Chris, the music he's playing for them, and I'm introducing them in a powerful way, or recognizing the CEO, the Tower of Power, the King of Sting, the man with the ultimate game plan, whatever that may be, that's what those relationships that you build that they didn't know were coming. That's how you open up to get close to understand.
So you keep a laser focus. So when you think about all the demands of all the different people that you're trying to please, you're bringing it down to a granular level of looking at every individual. And I think that's so great. I think we're tempted sometimes in the marketplace. You're thinking bottom line, and you throw this large net of who we serve. But instead of seeing a whole market of people, you see individual people. And that personalization, I think, is what I'm hearing, is what keeps you connected with so many different people and so many different kinds of events and so many different avenues.
100%.
It's about people.
Yeah, it totally. 100%. Awesome. And
so tell me this. Why do you think, because obviously you travel, you're on the road all the time. Again, that's why I appreciate so much the time you're giving us today. And so you're working with all these different people. But from my perspective of what I do, people are miserable in what they do.
Yes.
It's like people don't want to go to work, the marketplace. What are you seeing out there? What do you think is some of the problems or the dysfunctions of why everything seems, you're pumping people up. Why do people need to be pumped up so much?
Because our world, which is sad, entitlement, my dad never had a place for entitlement. You work hard, you will be rewarded. You earn that respect, or on the field, off the field, in the business, whatever. People now, it's sad. There's companies that do it right, hence the Home Depot. Their culture is money. Their culture is all about their people. You
Wow.
know, Aflac has gotten so big. We do their kickoff meeting every Friday and Saturday. I'm doing a different Aflac kickoff meeting in a different state.
Wow.
So we can, that's 4 weekends because they're, I guess, end of the quarter, they have to have all their numbers in before January 1st of the next year because we start kickoff meetings, where they're heading, what their goals are for 2025. We go back to the basics. We come back and love on those individuals and honor them for what they have done. You know, that's all sales, right? So,
Yeah.
so every Friday and Saturday, we're booked for
I love
Aflac,
it.
and we've been booked for 15 years, if not longer.
And I love this because I believe with all of my soul that this is the answer and this is the solution. You did not name, the top 10 things of systematic procedures or policies. You didn't talk about anything but the culture. You went to and you know what? The culture is really the foundation.
Your people.
That's what everything is built on. And so when you talked about going in and encouraging people, you're talking about number one, valuing people and looking at them as an individual. And you said it for what they contribute and what they do. And then also changing the environment of where you are. And I think
Huge.
that is so powerful. I mean, 77% of people right now say they hate their job. Man, we spend a third of our life working.
Right.
Most people live for the weekend. The weekend doesn't last long enough. And then they wake up 30 years later and go, where did life go?
Yeah.
This is not what I envisioned it to be.
Right.
And so I'm passionate as you are, just thinking, what quality of life could we produce for people if they were passionate about what they did every day in the workplace? And man, if we could change that culture. So I'm so grateful for what you're doing and the way that your team operates. And it's a fun and it's a fun party, but there's something so much deeper happening on the inside. And obviously, just like with Aflac, they've been calling you for 15 years
Yeah.
to inspire their
Yes.
company in what they're doing. But I know it's hard on you too. You mentioned some of the things about being hard to be on the road. How do you balance all of that? Being away from family, I know you miss things. There's a lot of sacrifice that people will never know that you've
Correct.
sacrificed to do what you do for the good of other people.
Well,
So are there secrets for other people that maybe were just feeling that same, they love what they do, but there's this tension between where they could be and the things that they're sacrificing? What are your
yeah,
secrets?
that's a great question. It's a hard question. I'm blessed to have a wife that supports me 100%. Trust is the key. Trust is, I'm on stage, whether it's introducing, the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders or, I'm all over the world. I'm in Hawaii doing an award ceremony and she can't make it. She trusts me 100%. And that even fuels my fire even more. Can't wait to get home.
Yeah.
And to balance it all out, she's welcome to come to all the events. Her family, we've invited to all the events so they can get a taste of what we do because it's hard to explain until you experience it. And I know you're the same way. Once you experience it, they go, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
We need more of that. We need that leadership, but we need that love. And how I balance things is, families first, God, family, and but I love what I do. When you have passion for what you do, it's not work. That's who I am, you know? And look, you relate that to sports. That's how I gauge everything. And that's how my dad gauged everything. And, that's might not be right or wrong for somebody else. But for me, that's a clear roadmap, just you have to work out and get faster and stronger. And you're going to get beat down. There's so many things I could tell you on my travel that, you know, I thought it was over, and that's another time. But blessed to know that when I get that reaction from that person or that CEO or even just an employee that just says thank you, that I needed to hear that today,
Yeah.
and
And I think I love, it's refreshing to hear someone say their family is a value. You know, your approach, I think, to everything you do, hearing you talk, your passion leaks through the screen. It's coming,
You're so
through
too.
people's earbuds right now. Their AirPods are just being filled with the passion that you have for what you do. It's refreshing. But then to hear you say that the family is a big deal, because I think many times we sacrifice so much for our family, and then people wake up one day and that's what they want to be surrounded by, and they're not there anymore.
Correct.
And so you have that, you have that value placed there, and you have the support for the family. So I can see how that's really encouraging, especially when you're on the road and you want to come back home.
Yeah. And
I think there's a lot of people out there, and I would just encourage people who are listening to pause for a second, because there's a lot of people, Michael, I believe, that want to fill their calendar because they don't want to be at home. And they feel more successful outside of their home. And so when they get home, they don't feel that level of success. And so our families aren't healthy. But my goal in life, if somebody were to ask me, what's success to you? It's to get to the end of my life, and if my name is mentioned, or if I come up and somebody goes, man, he loved his family, and for my family to still love me and like me.
Yeah.
And then for other people to go, you know what? He just made people and places better when he left.
Amen.
And I love that you do that. You really do see people. And, obviously you're passionate about what you do, and you find a lot of purpose in your work. And I see that you're very intentional with every event. And it's not just a job to you. There is purpose in it. Do you feel like what are you looking for in the specific jobs that you've been hired to do for the greater purpose? I know you want to encourage people. I know that, I've heard you mention many times your faith is of equal importance to you as well. You said, your relationship with the Lord, your family, and then helping other people. So what would you say is the purpose? Could you narrow it down to something that you go, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm here for?
Easy. Great question. Hard question to ask certain people. Literally, it's building relationships for the kingdom. We're here to share God's light, his love. And I know in my heart, and here's another podcast that we can do some other time. But, my first wife, I was married prior. My first wife died of cancer. She had an astrocytoma, brain tumor.
Wow.
And God showed me who he was through all that. And that's what it took for me, because I'm an athlete. I was going to get through anything. And I'm 24 years old and everything's fine. And next thing I know, 911, we find out she has a brain tumor. That's a whole nother story, but thankful and grateful that I got to go through that experience, to experience cancer. I didn't want to be there, right? I don't wish that on anybody. But that's what it took to I don't know, to break me. That I came to Christ January 20th, 1990. That Sunday, God was talking to me.
Yeah.
And to be able to share just a piece of that is pretty special.
It's incredible. Man, your grit, your resilience, we need more of that today. We need people to have a higher capacity to deal with things, to work through things. And man, I think you're encouraging some people today. From your transparency with your wife, the loss of your dad, the legacy that you're wanting to leave, the dream of playing ball that was turned into an incredible career, the ups and downs that you've shared of the career. I think it's a great example for all of us just to keep working, keep pushing, don't give up on it. And so this aerial view that you've given us of your career, it's very clear that you worked really hard to get where you are. And I know that there's people out there that are just starting out. Maybe they are sitting in the situation where they were chasing a dream and then it was taken away from them, like your football career, or, they thought they had the big client and then that changed.
It does.
What advice could you give for some of those people? Maybe they're starting out or they're in that moment of disappointment. How do they find something to devote their lives to that they can be so passionate about, just the same as you are?
That's such a great question. And the first thing that comes to mind is find your passion. But the hard thing is most people don't even know what their passion is. They really, truly don't sit down and, they think they've been told that they got to find a job and go to work and pay bills. And that's not the case. You got to be responsible.
Sure.
But yet find something that you love, whether it is. I told my wife, and she's been in the retail. She worked for Gucci. She worked for Burberry. She worked for Rod and Gun, and she's worked for all these, corporations. But she wants to do her Disney thing. that's her passion. I go, do it. Once you got to move on that action. Your attitude is in the right spot. Your heart's in the right spot. And you just got to step out on faith, which is hard. And that's another thing. I remember when I had my baseball card store, right? This was before the Olympics came. I had to sell the baseball card store to commit to that Olympic. Well, I didn't have an income if I sold the store. I had to go on faith where I didn't have any money come in. And that's scary. I'm 23, 24 at the time, whatever.
Yeah.
And that leap of faith was the best thing I ever did. God provided. Even when it's low. I mean, I was counting pennies. But yet one event led to 3, one relationship led to 5 more. Those are, you never know who you're talking to. And that's why I don't take for granted people you meet, even on the side of the road. Go talk to them, take time for them. And they think you're crazy because you're taking time, you're speaking to them. No, I care. I care more than some people think is wise, but God.
But isn't that an incredible opportunity we have?
Yeah.
Think about it. We overcomplicate this so much, and all it takes today to stand out and to make a difference is a simple conversation.
Simple. And be available, And you said it early on, and that's one of my favorite words is authentic. Most people, my discernment, I feel God gave me great discernment. And, just take that time and love on that person and let them shine. It's not about me. That's take me out of the equation. That's how can I make that person feel like they're the king or the queen? How, and it's if you take the time and just start a conversation, we can change the world.
Yeah.
We actually can.
You can. Well, listen, I know your goal is to encourage people, to inspire people, to make them feel better, to make them feel like the king and the queen. And let me just tell you, you did that for me today. I feel I'm inspired. I feel like I need to go out and do something that I haven't done yet. And I
get out
mean
here.
that.
Here's something I'm telling you, get outside, something that changed my life radically. It's easy to be great when you surround yourself with great people. And I'm honored to be on your show. And anytime you love to have me back or just get together outside, I'd love to be a part of what you're doing because your heart's right there in the right place. Today, people are hooked to their phones. Kids are hooked to their phones, the TVs. If you want to experience greatness, get outside, enjoy nature, be active, engage with other people.
Yeah.
And that is the healthiest. Your life, if you want to see an immediate change in life and your life change for the better, get outside, be thankful for today, right now. We're not guaranteed tomorrow. I've lost friends. I've talked to them one day and gone the next. We're not guaranteed that. So what can I do today to be different, better in both? Wake up, show up. I added dress up and do the next right thing.
I love it. I love it. And you dress well. Come on, everybody. You go check out social media. And let me tell you, the Kentucky Derby, you were looking good.
Hey.
I mean, looking really good. Hey, look, all of your links I've got provided down in the show notes. So everybody go and follow all the amazing things that he's doing. Thank you so much for being a part of the podcast today. It's been my pleasure. I mean that sincerely. Thank you.
Likewise. Thank you, Brandon.
Well, I want to say thanks to Michael once again for sharing with all of us today on the podcast. Make sure you check out all of his links there in the show notes. And of course, if this adds value to your life, do me a favor, like, subscribe, share, leave us a review. I want to add as much value to as many people as possible. Get out there, make a difference, live life on purpose, and mind your business. We'll see you on the next one.